and get everything going here. Yeah, I was just saying I'd like to clear the air so I could get this video started here. That'd be great. I was trying to find a good microphone or some other source I could talk to other than talking into my Lenovo computer, however you pronounce that. That's what I got. I got this new little tiny notepad. It works really great. Monitoring myself on a Samsung television. It's really awesome. But anyhow, I want to get this thing done, so I can't really operate with a new mic or what I plan on getting in the future. I don't have it right now. Um, but I really need to get this video here started and going for this channel. And what it is this is a strange phenomenon talk, and there's gonna be no, I wanted to write this down, but I'm just gonna explain it. There's no limitation to what I want people to talk about if they had a strange encounter. Like, I'll start with mine. I've had them with UFOs, and I'm from Oregon, and my father was in the military. He was in the Marines, and we traveled a lot. And my first encounter that I recall was with my parents. We seen a strange light, and it was up in the orbit or whatever, and it was following us. And when we'd stop, it would stop, and it was just doing kind of weird stuff like that. And I didn't have any other weird encounters like that until much later. And I really wish now that I look back, I keep all these uh, journals and places and ability for me to take note and be able to accurately describe things now, sort of. But I wish that I was that technical back then when a strange uh, phenomenon happened to me and a friend. It happened twice, but the second time, or I would say maybe the first time, I can't even remember because, again, I didn't keep good dates in track of the situations and kind of blew it off because nobody's gonna, they're gonna take what you say with a grain of salt, and then you say you seen a UFO, and then you're like, me, because I've had the encounter, I don't discard somebody saying I want to hear how they explain their encounter happened to be able to identify myself personally if I think I want to believe the person or not. I try to get a feel of the person, what kind of in depth. But anyways, so um, this I'll just say the second time was much later on. It was around 1998. It was in that whole year, and then I had two sightings in particular with two different people that I knew, friends of mine, and I'm not gonna say their names. But one, it looked like maybe it was just some kind of satellite acting kind of crazy. It was a ball, like a silver ball in the side, and whenever you could see it out, it didn't come up close. But I need to drink, take a drink. So me and this other friend, and I'll tell you the truth. I'm from Oregon. We smoke marijuana. We were not on any drugs or marijuana when this happened. As a matter of fact, my friend, he was younger. We were young, and I was trying to boost him in to his back window. He was gonna go steal some marijuana from his mom, out of his mom's stash. So I admit we were doing something that we shouldn't have been doing, but that was the case. And before the guy could even go in the window, this object, and it didn't come up close at this point, whenever me and him had this encounter, it stopped us and kind of stunned us. I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't like I wasn't able to control my own functions or anything, but this thing had us like against the wall, against his mom's house, instead of being able to go in through the back window. It just had us pinned up against the wall, and we were looking at it for some reason. It like turned us around and slammed us up against the thing and made us pay attention to it when we were focusing on a window of opportunity that I was saying in through this way. So um anyways, so I'm throwing stuff out there because you can discredit whatever you want to say that I say. If you want all that you want, you can hear me out and what I have to say and see if you believe me or not. But my story won't ever change either. So anyway, so that's the truth of it. And this thing just it came in maybe a little bit closer in focus, but it never came into focus where we could see exactly what it was in particular, but it came in like in focus just a tad bit, and it was just moving kind of weird, like up and down and back and forth and stuff like that. So I would say within around 1998, around the same exact time, with a different individual, we went we were in a place called Green, Oregon, and I did try to draw a couple of diagrams, sort of this place. I've got the actual location on Google Map, and I'm gonna stream to that location here in a minute. But what I could do is I could explain how we ended up in the second situation, and I would say it was within a 6 month period of each other. We had an encounter with the same object, but this time, um, I don't know, I don't know why, but my friend, we were, I'll tell you what we were doing and how my friend focused in on this object. Um, we were drinking alcohol the night before, but it wasn't enough to where um, we weren't drunk. I would say I was very sober. Um, we weren't partying hard or anything like that at all. We were just more or less hanging out, and we had casual things around like alcohol, but we didn't at that point we weren't like partying or anything like that. We were just hanging out, and um I'm not sure exactly why, but I think that the girl that I was friends with, the couple at that house we were at all night, she wanted us to leave, and she was kind of mad about it, and she was abrupt with it, and made us leave right away early in the morning. And I think about it, might have been because she didn't like my buddy, maybe. She, but anyhow, so me and my friend left there, and we went down the street, and I made my friend come with me somewhere where we just chilled out for a minute. And where it was Sunny Slope School in Roseburg, Oregon. It's in the Green District. So we're walking back, and again, like I said, we weren't high or anything like that. There was no drugs involved at this point, and we weren't doing anything extreme or heavy the night before. So just abruptly made to leave early in the morning. We were sober, so it wasn't really nothing we could say about it. At least she let us uh, cool out there. But anyhow, so we left these people's house after we got kicked out, and it was early in the morning. And I can't say exactly if there was any time lapse or whatever. Like if I lost a half hour or an hour or anything like that. I didn't have a watch, but I know around what time in the morning it was. It was um, somewhere between 7 and 9. and the the skies were kind of cloudy, and I kind of believe that maybe some places you'll encounter these weird phenomenons more when there's, I think that there's one reason is because of the lack of the military bases in Oregon. So like a place here where I'm at, there's a base nearby. I don't know, you know, but that wouldn't cause, and that the alien or whatever the heck it is don't know that. Maybe it's the Russians somehow. They got some technology and they creeped up on us. But again, this thing wanted us to view it. So we come in, I drew this. Here it is, and this is the main road. This is called like Castle Avenue. And Castle comes in, if I can look at this. Here's the parking lot. Here's a football field. Okay, and there's houses all the way around the whole entire school. And then over here is where we've seen it, and this is where the school is. And there's two entrances, if you can see. There's one side entrance here, and there's another side entrance here. And this is a walkway that leads right up by the football. It's they play football there too, but it's basically soccer fields. And there's like 3 baseball diamonds right there. And then you come up to the parking lot, and we were chilling about right here where there's a it's like a gravel pea sandbox. We were just resting there and chilling on our back. I had my eyes closed, and this guy tells me, my friend says, "Hey, what? Look at that!" And he look straight up in the sky. And so it took me a few moments to get the object into focus. And this thing really did a number to us, to our minds. It played with our minds. So I'd say, like, if it didn't abduct you or whatever and do some weird experiment on it, it really messed with your mind at least. Because this object was doing some phenomenal um, motions in the sky right above us. It was just going boom, 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 like it was bouncing back and forth off of a wall, imaginary walls all around, you know. So just doing some crazy, phenomenal, you know, out of this world maneuvers in this object. So, anyways, and it's coming in closer and closer and closer and closer the whole entire time. And I mean, and it's playing with their minds, doing this to us for at least, like, I'd say at least 20 minutes to 40 minutes. It really had us concentrating on it. And then for some reason, it was like just a moment. It didn't, you know, there's some people say it seemed like forever. Well, it really seemed like not any time at all. It really seemed like time had just gone. Like it wasn't that much time at all. Not that there was any time missing. It was just it all happened, and it all happened so fast is what I mean. So this thing comes in closer, and then you see where the school building is right here. So then the thing comes from out straight above our heads, and then it comes down, and it goes like this, and it lands on top of the school building right here. And I hit my buddy, and I said, for some reason, I hit my friend on the shoulder, and I said, come on, this thing, it's going to be over here. I thought it was on the other side of the school, and this is where there's some basketball courts over here. There's basketball courts right down here, about around where we were sitting initially, and then there's some more courts on the other side of the school by the entrance right here. You can see there's the main entrance that goes into their parking lot, and then here's your school, and this is showing up backwards. So dimensionally, I would have had to have somehow copied this backwards and then put it on here in order to show the school the way that it really is, because the school in real life is over here, and out of my mind from what I recall how I would have wanted it in the picture, but we'll go with that. So here's the entrance. It comes around from castle all around, and so I tell him, I hit him on the shoulder and I tell him, hey, it landed over here. I don't know why, but I thought it landed on right directly on the other side of the school. Maybe it was because it had something to do with it landing directly on top of the building, but it gives me, even up to now, it gives me a very slight or large indication that it was dimensional. It just had a weird dimensional feature, weird feature thing to it. Like it could be like real close to you, and this thing was really huge, and you couldn't tell how big it really was. It was just very hard to determine its size or anything like that, because and it dropped and it landed right on top of the school where you could go and you could have, if I would have recalled all of this, I wish I was a bit more intelligent whenever this happened. I would have been able to have took all the necessary notes that I would have needed to, like I would have remembered maybe the dimension whenever it landed right on the school, like within a certain perimeter of the roof or something where it landed, and compare that, and then I'd know around, to myself anyways, I'd know how large across this object was. So going back into the weird dimensional like maneuver thing that it does, so it's playing with our heads really bad. So we continue down the path. I forced my friend to go with me, and it was a risk, because if you see something like that, there ain't no telling what it is and what it's going to make you do or anything like that. But I forced my friend for some reason. I forced him to go with me over there to check it out. So it was at least enough to where I didn't want to go by myself. Maybe that's the point of saying that, of being so, direct. Hey, I made somebody go with me. If my friend was with me and I told him, when we're going, you're going with me. So we leave, we head out around to see if the object is over on the other side. Like I said, I thought that it landed, and maybe they were going to come out of this object. I thought they were gonna land, and maybe they were gonna come and tell us something. But um, there was one other person that could have witnessed it too, and he came out of the second entrance, and he was. See, now this is all really kind of screwed up dimension. I'll have to go to the school here in a second. But he came out of the second entrance, and he was walking through the field. And we were yelling at him, hey, stop, stop, look at that object. And he wouldn't. So anyway, so when we headed around here, the object stopped us right here. And there's another entryway, like there's a front entrance right here to the school. There's a back entrance right here. And this object stopped us dead cold right there. And I don't know how, unless the thing somehow with some kind of person magnetic thing or something, some way it can magnet, use a magnet on people in particular. But it like threw us up against the wall, kind of like that again. But we're up against the wall. We're just standing shoulder to shoulder as we were walking on this trail to go around to see this thing if it landed there. Some Martians or something come out of it. It was up in the sky, right above where the second entrance was, right over here, up in the sky. So maybe my friend was he had a good idea, or his vision was able to focus in on the thing again or something. I don't know. Maybe he was a Martian. I always thought he was kind of different. But anyways, I'm not really trying to make too much of a joke of it because I want people to at least hear it and see if you take me seriously or not. So here we are, me and my friend. We got stopped. Remember, the school is behind us, right here, where I just described, and we're looking at this object. And this is a strange phenomenon that I want to describe and explain, and say that this is why I believe that, if not all of the ancient pyramids discovered around the world are not a spaceship. I believe that some of them are some kind of um, word or something uh, made and created by these things to do more than just sit there on the ground. Now, I truly believe, because of witnessing this thing that looked exactly like a brand new pyramid from Egypt. The Egyptian pyramids, that's what it looked like, except it was brand new. They would say, if the original thing, I don't recall anything about a golden top at all. There was gold on the bottom, which I describe right here. I'll read it here off in a second. But the inside of the craft had no windows that you could tell of in particular at all. I mean, you could look at it and tell that it was some kind of intelligence that was looking at you, but could see you right there, but it had no window. It had no windows. The whole face of it was the same, and it was um, not I can't recall it like spinning around or anything. I can remember the exact shape, and that it looked exactly to me like I went to Egypt. Like somehow I magically had Egypt fly right to me, is how I can describe this thing. And it was I would describe it as completely brand new. Like they just crafted it, like it was just made. Like I don't know how to explain that. It looked brand spanking new, like it was just driven right off of the alien UFO shop line, whatever, space dealership or whatever. I'm serious. It looked brand new, like we just bought it or made it or whatever. And it had black. And now that I heard a lot of them describe the granite used to be on the old pyramids, it's how I would definitely say yes. It was black like granite. The whole thing complete. The whole thing. There was no gold tip or anything like that. The thing was a solid pyramid. And it was exactly the same, but like they just made a brand new pyramid, like as if you would have dug one of them up, ancient pyramids up, and it was brand new. So I have no idea. So that's why I believe all the ancient pyramids flew, or they did something, uh, and I might start arguing that I don't believe that it could have been a warp hole or some kind of device to get into a dimension without it actually leaving Earth, without it actually leaving the ground somehow, and you actually being able to witness it in flight. That's what I believe. So don't ask me why. And they've got. I know that they have. They have. Um, basically places where they have taken blocks out and cut them out of the earth, but they don't know exactly how they did that either. It was probably done by some kind of, you know, technology that they had back then, like a laser or something. So, but anyways, so there was gold on the pyramid. So I said orb. I think I'm trying to say shade. The shade of brightly glowing gold. It was like gold turned on, and it lit to light as if turned on. and it was quiet. And how I describe it was weird. They were talking about how on this one UFO show I was talking about watching on on the History Channel. They said that the craft had no stick shift or something like that, and that made me think of when me and my friend were standing there. It was as if we weren't talking. We were like this, and we could communicate. We were communicating through each other's minds instead of actually talking to each other. Literally, when we were there, and you couldn't hear a peep, you couldn't hear a cricket or nothing. It drowned the sound completely out everywhere. This object did. It was completely quiet like that. And when you talked to each other like that through your mind, if that really happened, it was like as if it was so normal it never happened. Like you were talking through the mouth, anyways. But you weren't. You were doing everything through your mind. You were looking at this thing, and I said, I can remember telling him that I wanted the thing to take us for a ride. I don't know what in the world I was thinking, but anyhow, so that's basically the gist of why I created this channel. I'm gonna try and get a microphone, maybe a headset or something like that. I could plug into this thing. And I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna listen to this and see how well it works out. But here, we'll do a screen share real quick. Screen share for the pyramids. Yeah, no, a lot of them are all built kind of crazy like, but I have no idea how in the world you tie those and actual people building them, if the people weren't some kind of some kind of alien themselves. Because how else could they do that unless they actually had some kind of they were stronger than just your average person. They were some kind of, you know, phenomenally strong, humanoid in order to be able to pick up, together blocks like that and then put it all together precisely like that. So I'm gonna do a screen share real quick. Here's Sunny Slope. I can remember this distinctively. There's the field over to the right. I mean to the left. I'm sorry. My other right. It's my other right. The football field, see at the end of the fence right there, that's one baseball diamond. Where I was talking about was way over on the other side. Let's see if we can zoom in here. Okay, right here, this is perfect, except for the tree. If I can get past the tree. And that's as far as they'll let me go. I'm gonna have a hard time being able to show you exactly unless there was some other way it'll let me go in there. But this right here, besides these beautiful trees right here, again, those are cypress. But anyhow, that's the school building right here. I said at the end it landed, and right here, around in the middle here, is where that school box was, where that It was like a pebble rock box. It had pebble rocks in it. We were lying there on our back, and the sky was completely covered in clouds. So it was really gloomy, but it wasn't rainy. It was just completely clouded over forecast. So, but I mean not rainy, not forecast. It looked like it with very little moisture in the air. It seemed like, and let's see. I wish that I could have gone in there better. Let's see. Here's school. There's the two courts right over there. I don't know if it'll yeah, there you go. Let's try it. So I don't know. Yeah, this is back in the neighborhood. Right down the street from here. You go down here. Boom. There's a walkway. Unless they maybe cover. Mm-hmm. People walking. Uh, Shoot. Let's see here. Right, yeah, there's the school right there. No, it's another yard. No. We're behind the school. Green Avenue. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I thought. Yeah, I don't remember that. Side street right here. Oh, yeah, here, look. I know this place. Gee whiz. Right here. Here's the second entrance. Thank God. Okay. See the walkway right here. It goes into the school, and the school is back behind there. I don't know if it's gonna let me go in there. I'll probably get to a street image. But that one route that I just showed right there is where this kid walked through there, and he could have been a witness, but he like got scared. There's the other walkway right here. See it? Still there. It goes right in. There's the field right there. So, oh wow. We might be able to go back down to the main road. Oh, there's Burdette Drive. Hold on. Is that the right way? Wrong way? Yeah, wrong way. You wanna go this way? Alright. Roseburg. Yeah. Where I used to live. Burdette. Let's see if we can get out of this neighborhood. Huh. What is it? Hermosa. Hermosa, we have to get. Yeah, Burdett Drive. Burdett was the guy who built all these houses. That's what makes that name so significant. He developed all these houses all around this place. There we go. We're gonna go past it. We did. We'll turn right back. Oh, it's Austin. That's the name of the road, people. It's not Castle. Castle's the next one over. This is Austin. Here it is. Here's where we showed up. So we got kicked out of this house, and it was completely clouded up in the sky. And this is where we ended up because the chick kicked us out, and I didn't want to take the guy directly to my house, which I could have, but I did not want to wake I live with my parents, and I didn't want to be rude and have to wake them up because it was, like I said, had been early enough to be concerned. I said I wanted to wait until about 10 o'clock or so if we could. So for some reason I did that, and I put us in this position. So we walked down here, there's that walkway I was talking about, all the way to the left by the wooden fence, and through those trees, all the way down there to close to where it looks like a red object over there. Um, no, no, close in between where the fence ends and the school right there. You'll find it's like a sandbox, but it's not sand. It's pea gravel. I'm taking a second here. This is like a perfect view. It's not gonna let me creep up. I can't zoom in onto the school anymore from here, but this is a perfect view, so you can see the exact place I was talking about. So right there. We come in, we go down here, and we're sitting there chilling, and up in the sky, directly above your head, you'd have to look directly up like that, and complete chin up, straight, directly above your head, like you're looking at the North Star. And there was this object. I had my eyes closed. We were laying on our back. He was over, had his feet kicking off one side, and I had my feet on the other side of the box, so to speak, and we were just chilling there with our eyes closed. And I guess he was uh, able to observe for somehow this object, and it came in, and like I described earlier, it was just going crazy up in the sky. It was just one of the most radical things I've ever seen, and it was so awesome that it was enough to put any fear, really. I don't know. I'm kind of weird, kind of, I guess, in the sense I don't get very scary around stuff anymore, like maybe I should have before. I don't know. It's weird to describe, but this thing kept coming in closer and closer and closer and closer until it landed on the school. And like I said, I feel like a dope now because I should have looked at the building and described and at least stepped with my feet and to say how many feet across the thing went and been able to measure the thing, if I went back. But I was nowhere near that smart before. I mean, maybe, but I don't know. I don't know what my problem was. I was more interested in just paying attention to the thing than I was sitting to make a freaking catalog about the thing, So um I just sat as an observer and I had no way to document the object except from what I remember, and it was a weird UFO. It landed on this building right here. I can't, like I said, I feel like a dope for not being able to tell you because it looked like it landed directly right on the building. And I told my friend that it was on directly across. I thought it landed on the ground on the other side and it was going to talk to us or something stupid. So evidently I don't know what my deal was. Really not cautious at all. I threw all caution to the wind. I hit my friend on the shoulder and I said, dude, let's go around here. So we make it halfway around this building to the left, and by where that second entrance was over there that I showed you earlier, where the other witness came through. He came through when the thing was still above head. At some point, either whenever it took off, it just disappeared into nothing. We'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, so this other kid, he looked like, to me, he looked like he was half white, half black kid in this area, so you'd probably be able to find that kid now, even. So, anyhow, he's not popular or anything like that. He's just a familiar face in this area, in this little area here. I'm sure. But anyhow, he kept walking and he didn't like run, but his uh walk step got a little bit faster as we were yelling at him, dude, hey, stop. Stop. Look at that thing. We were pointing at it up in the sky, and he did not want anything to do with it, and he boogied out of there. And he went from that one entrance all the way to the far right side over here. There's a little exit right here. See, there's that, but I'm pretty sure he kept walking, and he walked out that one, out this little gate right here, and he was gone. And we could not convince him to stop and and be a witness. Yeah, I know that sounds kind of like a jerk move. I don't know how to put somebody in a position like that. I guess I don't know. Like I said, I threw all caution to the wind and everything on this, and I just I wanted somebody else to verify it, even though me and another person were witnessing the same exact phenomenon at the same exact time, and it looked dimensional. So I don't know what else to tell you guys except for sure the thing the thing for surely looked like a Egyptian pyramid, like the one found in Egypt, brand new. So it looked like it was brand newly fresh, carved and cut and put together, and however they did it, they got this thing together, and that is the object that came up to us. And I'll show you one more time in the screen share here what I'm talking about. It was right. Oh no. Did I lose it? I think I did. It's alright. We'll go back to it. Alright. So we got Burdett Drive. That's how we got back there. Hannah Austin Road. Back to Austin. Alright, good job. Alright, here we are. Right back to the place. So this is the last thing I'm going to show you. This thing, how I know for a fact for a fact, Jack, that those pyramids in Egypt are UFOs. They are a flying apparatus, some kind of flying machine. They float in the air before. They landed them there. They maybe controlled them in the air or whatever, and had them come here and land. And boom, boom, they had them lock into place. And I also believe that maybe it points to what some other people said where they're from, and maybe through the stars they're pointing through where they come from. Maybe that's why they all line up a certain way, and it can, I don't know what all that has to do with reasoning and basically knowledge that you'd have to be a freaking cosmonaut or some crap like that. But okay, so in between these trees to the left, up above where you can see here in the distance, a telephone pole in the background. Over there to the left, in between the tree, the last big tree down the trail, and the school. This thing above there, I would say, um, looking on there, above that, it would have been about around 3 or 4 of those um, fence links. If you look at the fence link next to the baseball diamond, the shorter one that comes off of it, that between the ground and the top where the bar is on that chain link, look at that block. That, use that as a measurement. About about 3 to 4 of those up is where this thing was. And it's like I said, it had this like ability where it didn't tell you, hey man, we control you or anything like that. You were unaware that you were being controlled or anything like that. There was no sound. This thing stopped us, and we were like sitting there looking right at it, like perfectly, like, all of a sudden just locked up in there, and we were staring at this thing, and we were, like I said, we were able to talk, but it was like we were talking through our minds, and it was in such a weird manner that it was almost, it was like natural, completely natural. It was so natural the way it went down that you talk through your mind like that. It had you doing that. If that happened, it was so just on key that you couldn't even hardly remember that. But it was like something that I believe happened. I don't know that for a fact. All I can tell you is I believe that some crazy stuff went down like that, and it was like magnetically like drowned all of the noise and everything away. So nobody could even really talk or make any noise. It was weird. You could not hear a pin drop. You couldn't hear nothing. And it was right above there. And then when it was done with us, it did like do this spin thing. So I lied. The last thing I can remember, but it was it just got smaller and smaller, and it didn't do weird and crazy, you know, stuff all over the sky. It just went from the point it was at where you could see it, and then just got smaller and smaller till it got to a pinpoint and just vanished right in front of you like that. And that's how it ended. So I just, I thought that maybe I could start something like this, explain my story, and see if anybody would want to come on and talk about some crazy, strange phenomenon. And if I get a chance to, I'll try to get some people on here to tell maybe their stories, and I'll do the report or whatever on here for people that seen things. Like, it could be anything. It could be Sasquatch, Yeti. It could be the Loch Ness monster or UFOs. Anything strange phenomenon like that. I was hoping that I could get draw people in to this channel in particular so they could talk and give their stories. It's also a chance that if people really want to do it kind of anonymous, I believe that you could probably operate that. Just create something with not your name or whatever directly. How you come on here, or you could come clean like I did, and I'm Christopher Columbus Lanham the third. And people are like, "How do you say your last name?" Lanham. It's Lanham, Lanham, and that's for people who are familiar with Maryland area. There's a Lanham, Maryland, so that's the name in particular. Anyhow, I just wanted to tell my story and see if I could attract anybody for the purpose of just discussing it or whatever. You can even tell me what your intentions are of coming on and explaining your story, whatever are. Maybe you just want to unload and you just felt like talking about it and you didn't really want to like make it like what I'm doing here with this in particular, but you wanted an anonymous to anonymously make it official, basically. Because this is all going to be an archive, and it's going to be archived, and I think that it's I just want to hear people out, and I let other people determine if they think they're telling the truth or not, and that's what this whole thing is all about. I explained a lot, so I'm going to let it go there. Peace.